Welcome to writingalong.com. Today's episode is all about writing for beginners, which is a crucial and important topic to cover because when you're starting out writing, you have to begin somewhere. And when you're starting out, you're coming fresh from these books that you've really admired. There's these authors that you really appreciate, and they've had some effect on your life. Usually it gets to the point where you want to create that for other people too. And it's just kind of this misguided energy. You don't really know where to put it. You've probably directly tried. You're like, oh, it looks pretty easy. I can do it too. And you go on and just start writing like your favorite writer, and nothing happens. It sucks. It does not resemble anything you want it to, and it's discouraging. It's like, let's say you just picked up an instrument and you have no idea how to play. Like you don't even know not even just technique. You don't even know how to make it make sound. And that's what writing can feel like when you're starting, when you're just a total beginner to it. So to cover the most basic topics, let's just get right into it. It's not really a list, it's more just a conversation. Respond in the comments to any ideas and thoughts that you have as well, any reactions you have with this stuff, and how you feel as a beginner writer right now, and where you hope to be. Tell me where you hope to be as a writer in a year from now. Or that's a long time, right? How about a week from now? Where do you hope to be as a writer next week, next month? Go ahead and let me know. All right, so when you're starting out, again, like I said, you have authors that you like. They did something for you. They revealed some kind of beauty to your mind. They revealed some kind of facts about human nature, and they really resonated with you. It's as if they just answered and they like echoed and reverberated within you. You're just like, wow, this says something. This entertains me. This keeps me interested. This intrigues me. This gave some value to my life, and I want you to keep that in mind as a writer. That's what you're doing. You're giving value. You're providing value to other people's lives and to your own at the same time, which is why people still do it. I'm telling you, people would not write if it didn't give them something too. And that's a multifaceted thing, what it can bring you or what it brings other writers. It varies, but same core things. But I want you to keep that in mind as well. It's not like you're just doing this impossible task for no reason or just all purely out of the kindness of your heart. Don't get me wrong. It's great to do things out of the kindness of your heart, but it's not always sustainable, right? Charities aren't sustainable. People get paid on the board of charities. So this is what I'm saying. With writing, it's going to be a long journey. It's going to be for a lifetime. It's not going to be quick. And you already know that. That's why you're still hearing what I'm saying. You didn't just get fully discouraged. Like, I quit. Okay, it's going to take a lifetime. What? You don't have to wait till the end of your life to write either. This is something really important. I'm going to say those two things closely together within this proximity of the video and episode because it's not going to take a lifetime, but you're not going to be waiting 50 years from now either. I mean, you can get started next week if you really want to. You can get started after this video if you want. Although as a writer, I do believe you owe yourself a brief period of time where you just think about it. You just fantasize about writing. You just think of yourself. Actually say this to yourself. I want to be a writer. I legitimately just want to. I want to call myself an author, or I want to, be a screenwriter. I want to convey and communicate stories through my words. My words it's an art. It's something I want to do. And you're going to get really excited about that. You come up with some titles. This is a really fun exercise and thing to do. Come up with titles of what your books would be called. Would you have a book series? Write your own bibliography. I don't actually write the books yet, but just put the titles down, put the year that you want them to be released. Be as crazy as you want. Put like 5 books in the same year if you really want to, and come up with all this stuff. And hell, take a picture that you like. Really, I'm not even kidding. I'm not saying this is a joke. Take a picture that you would use as your author profile, as your writer image, what people will see and know you for, and come up with one. And you're going to be doing all this stuff. You might write a chapter here and there, and you're not actually going to accomplish anything much. You're not actually going to write much in this period. Accomplish in terms of what you can see, actual results you can see. But it's a necessary step. It's what they call in sports, right? Like the red shirt year. With writing, you kind of owe yourself a red shirt year. And you may have already had yours. You may be within it right now, where you're just witnessing and things that are happening, and you're not actually participating. For the most part, you're not actually writing, you're just thinking about it, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great time to enjoy, and I want you to embrace it if you're there right now, or if you feel that you're approaching that, and if you're really a beginner at writing. You're not going to know what to do. You're just not. And you're going to have to immerse yourself in some kind of writing content, something consistent though, something that's not pulling you in this direction, something that's not pulling you in that direction. You want to find someone who's teaching writing and it really, really hits you. You know, it really connects with you. Like, wow, this is, I know what they're talking about. I'm not there yet, but you know what? I know where they're going. I know they're pointing me in. And because you're going to hear a lot of conflicting writing advice out there. And all you really need to do is stick with the one that works for you, the one that speaks to you, the one that you feel is authentic. Keyword authentic. Make that a priority. Because if you don't stick with writing in an authentic way and, you know, prioritize sincerity in that sense, you're going to give up and you're going to be left with this disappointment. I'm not kidding. For like a chunk of your life, you're going to feel this vague kind of sadness. Like, I was really into writing. What happened? It stopped. I wanted to write my book. I wanted to be an author. And now it's just this dead dream, like this dead end I don't even want to revisit in my mind, in the alleyways of my thoughts and memories. I don't even want to remember that it exists because I just feel so bad about it. Why didn't I finish? But I don't want you to feel like that. I want you to find that writing can actually be a companion with you for your entire life. It can actually be a significant component of who you are, and you can attach yourself to it for the rest of your life. And to do that, again, you got to realize that it's a process. It's not a switch you just flick on. You have to actually put your mind in the state of mind that a writer is in. And to do that, you have to learn from someone who's done it before. Your writing is passed down. You're not just going to sit around in a room and come up with how to do it on your own. You will bash your head against your desk if you are just sitting there with a blank page and you got to figure it out and you have no idea what to do. No idea at all. You're going to have to learn from writers before you. It doesn't really matter so much, again, as long as you connect with them and resonate with them. Because writing is a span. There's a history to it. You don't have to know the history, but you have to acknowledge it when you're getting started, and that every writer experienced this. That's one of the biggest things that's going to keep you going. Like, oh, what? They had this moment too where they wrote this short story that just embarrasses them to hell. Like, they didn't feel like they had their own unique voice for a while, or they had trouble finding the time to write, or they didn't want to sound like everybody else, or they feared they didn't know enough words, or that their writing resembled an imitation. Like, all these different writing fears. Like, once you realize that stuff is normal, it's like a weight off your shoulders. It's crazy. You solve those fears by realizing that other people had them and were able to become writers anyways. And the way you solve them is going to be unique to you. But I'm telling you, just knowing that they're solvable goes a hell of a long way. Goes all the way. And you got to be aware of that. And like I said, you got to embrace this phase where no writing actually happens. You just think about it. You just feel good about being a writer. You might even tell people like, yeah, I want to be a writer. I'm thinking about being a writer. And go for it. You're not even going to tell them I'm writing a book. I'm writing a book. I'm writing this. I'm writing that. You're just going to, and you might get there to that point too, but nothing's actually happening. You might even lie to people. I'm not kidding. You might lie to people and say, yeah, I'm writing right now. I'm working on this. And no, you're not. Come on. It's between you and me. No, you're not. You don't even know where to begin. You don't even know where to start. You don't even know where to finish. You don't even know where you're going or where you are. And that's okay. That's part of it. That's always been part of it. But the way a lot of people have taught it, it's just, you got to fill up your mind with all this knowledge. And once you have that, you can be a writer. You got to sit through this 50-hour lecture series from this esteemed writer professor who will teach you everything. And you got to take notes on everything. You don't have to take notes. If you want to, feel free to take notes on these videos. But I'm telling you, you don't have to. You just got to watch them. You just got to listen to them. These can be on in the background. I know I'm saying that. I would love if everyone's listening to every word that I'm really saying and pouring out here for people to take and make their own. But sometimes just leave it on in the background. Just let it soak in your mind. Let it immerse yourself. It's like learning a language. Most things that are learned can be equated to language learning. It's when you surround yourself with it. And that's the way. If you learn a language, you'll learn to speak it in your own way. Did you know that? When you learn English, you come up with your own very you-isms. You put your name and then put the suffix ism at the end, ISM, S. And that's what you make of writing. That's what you make of your own words. I know you already speak the language that you're going to be writing in, but just be aware of that. Your unique voice is going to come through as you expose yourself to what writing means, what it can mean for you. and you're gonna have to hear it 100 times. You just are. There's not an easy way around it. There's no little shortcut. But I'm gonna tell you, the path there is like riding along the Pacific Coast Highway with like this magnificent view of the Pacific Ocean. Uh, California, West Coast people in America, you know what I'm talking about. And wherever you're from, there's this scenic route that is just it's breathtaking, and it doesn't feel like it's in a literal sense a breeze. It feels nice. That's what the way of writing is like. In your own life, you're going to experience some hard times not just because of writing, but as a person you are. But writing is going to be there. It's going to be that view that you have. It's part of a worldview. It's part of a way of approaching everything. So with writing right now, writing for total beginners, I want you to embrace this time where you don't know what the hell you're doing and you just feel lost. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're never going to be a writer. It doesn't mean you're never going to know what to do. I just want you to keep exposing yourself to what writing means, what it can mean for you, what certain things take, little techniques, little things here and there that writers suggest. Not just any writers, though, okay? Be careful who you take writing advice from. Make sure they have your best interest in mind. Make sure they have your own writing success in mind. And make sure they have a clear definition of what success means for them. I owe it to you to tell you what does writing success means to me. What am I teaching people? I'm teaching people to write like themselves. I'm teaching people to know themselves. I'm teaching them to find the writer inside them, this inner voice inside them they can establish a dialogue with, so that they're not faking it, so that they're not just winging it and wondering, are people going to find me out that my writing is actually just like the worst? It's not actually real. I just put the root together. It doesn't mean anything. I hope no one sees through it. I don't want you to be like that. I'm teaching the opposite. I'm teaching the other side of that. I want you to reach this point where words come to you just like that. Stories come to you just like that. You never have to worry about running out of them. And I've seen that place be reached for other people. I've seen that place reach for myself, and mostly just others. That's the part that really sparks me making all this stuff. I want you to find that place for yourself too, because it's a lot to take in. But it's also one of the best routes in life. It's one of the best paths you can take. And it's amazing. It's really incomparable. And it's not difficult. It's not impossible. It takes some time. Yes, it does take some time. But you're going to enjoy that time if you're learning from a place that really prioritizes you, prioritizes your writers, your heart. They acknowledge you as a human being, not just someone who wants to market and make $1 trillion off your book, but someone who has something to say, a story to tell, which I think you do. You have a really valuable one to tell and share. If you're interested in writing a book, check out How to Write a Book in 30 Days at my website, writingalong.com. It's just everything you need to get started with writing. And even if you're a beginner, just check it out. Let it sit in your inbox and use it when you need it. All right, I'll see you, and thanks for stopping by today. I really appreciate it. See you on the next episode.